This podcast contains strong language and examples of real-life scenarios that some may find disturbing. It is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
We left off, it was around 2002. We'd just been talking dog breeds and what worked for Graham, or POM, and his crew. And we kind of left off before we got onto the dog breeds with he's just come through course, basically, 2001, 2002. So that's where we're going to pick up. This is the Virtus House Kennel Kast. You ready to go?
Yeah, mate.
All right.
Yep. So I finished course and guys got posted to different combat engineer regiments. There was 4 on my course and 3 guys passed. Usually somebody failed.
Yeah.
That was the attrition rate. Usually 1 or 2 failed. So one of the guys went to 3 CR, one went to 1 CR.
1 CR.
Oh, sorry, combat engineer regiment.
Yep.
And so we had 1, 2 and 3.
Yep.
Combat engineer regiment. Well, that at the time we did. And then we used to have a thing called CBR, which is a chemical biological regiment, I suppose. Yeah.
Yep.
But they morphed into incident response regiment.
Yeah, IRR. Yep.
Which then morphed again into the special operations engineer regiment.
SOA.
We're
just going to go with abbreviations now. Yeah. Graham's just done us a solid and told us what all that is.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. And so that's that. And then so I was pretty much at the school. They said, "Do you want to go somewhere?" I said, "Oh, I'm happy staying at the school," because basically you could do all dog training.
Okay.
When you go to the regiments, you're part of a dog section, but you're also part of a bigger squadron that. Most of the time you do dog training, but sometimes you have to go off and do other
soldier first
stuff. Yep. Yeah, combat engineer stuff first.
Yep.
So I was at the school. So there was a couple of probably about 3 other dog handlers there that had passed the course on previous years. Most of them had been dog handlers for about 5 years. So there was senior dog handlers.
Yep.
So I was still learning off them, but also we had a brand new course come in. We started in January. So, and I think there was 6 or 7 on that course. And yeah, so I helped out on the course. So I would go off and put the explosives down.
Okay. Yep.
And do basic first aid, show them basic first aid and stuff like that.
So how long between finishing course and now you're actually kind of instructing on it? How long between that?
Probably about 2 months.
Jesus. Okay, that, just so everyone knows, that's not the norm in the military, that you would finish a course and then go on instructional duty. So how did that come about? Or was that more common back then that would happen, or it wasn't? Or
yeah, at the time it was more common.
Okay.
Because they had sort of more of a redundancy, as in they used people at the school if something had happened in the combat engineer regiments.
Sure.
In their EDD sections. So if something happened there to one of the handlers, then one of the guys would go straight up there from the school. So there was like an operational capability at the school.
Okay.
So, like I said, to go off and do jobs with the police, because we'd get a lot of jobs with the police at the school. So New South Wales Police.
Yeah, right.
We'd get to work with them and their doggies. So, there was a sort of redundancy, operational redundancy at the school at the time.
So you're a bit of a dog's body. You're on course. You're an operational handler. So you're going out with doing military stuff. You're going out doing work with police.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for about, I think 12 months. I did that for 12 months, but I really did enjoy working with the guys on the course.
Yep.
Because there was genuinely good blokes, and you get to pass on your knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's only even though you know really nothing really. I mean, you've only been doing the job just over 12 months.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's good, and you get off to help with the police jobs. We did federal police. We did big federal police job
Okay.
in Canberra.
Tell us. Come on, tell us.
Yeah. It was there was a guy. He was. We got called in with, like I said, the CBR regiment. So we got called. They got called in to do a search on a property in Canberra, and the guy who was after was a guy who was part of Lakemba Mosque.
Okay.
He was one of the big cheesies there.
It's a bit of homegrown terrorism.
Yep, homegrown terrorism, and also in his spare time, he was a baggage handler for Qantas.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah, so this was a bit of a funky adventure. So we got, we went to Canberra, and out with we was stationed with the federal police.
Yep.
And they had one doggy, so he came out with us. So we went out, big operation. Went to this guy had a property in the hills, like massive property in the hills. So, but they had the tag guys go through first, cleared it all, and then we went through.
Yep.
And we searched it all, and what we found was quite amazing. He'd bought himself a bulldozer, and he bulldozed a firing range into the hillside, rifle firing range into the hillside, and he'd also had a lot of old cars there, and there was craters all over the place. So what we figured out he was doing, he was making homemade explosives and blowing these cars up and blowing cratering charges in the floor. And also we found thousands of rounds, cartridges of AK rounds.
Okay.
So so he clearly had weapons, and he clearly had access to homemade explosives.
Yeah.
So when we raided his place out in Canberra, they also raided his house.
Right.
And I think they arrested him. They arrested him, but they couldn't really. He didn't have anything in the house.
Okay.
And it wasn't illegal for him to have what he'd been doing.
Yep.
But it was dodgy as hell.
Yep.
And they'd had intelligence that he was a real radical preacher, and he preached hate against Australia and all the rest of it. And one of his sons was called Jihad.
Okay. Okay. Bit of a
bit
of a red flag.
Bit of a giveaway there. But so we did that. So that was so we ended up searching the whole property. We didn't really find anything apart from they had forensic. Literally, the police was on their hands and knees doing forensic search of this whole hill.
Okay.
It was amazing. I've never witnessed it before.
Yeah, right.
But it was amazing. So we, as dog handlers, we did most of the area with the dogs.
Yeah.
We really didn't find anything. I mean, we couldn't search. Basically, you couldn't search the rifle range because the dogs had hit.
Yeah, everything about every 2 seconds.
Every 2 seconds, so we couldn't do that. But we searched the hillsides and stuff like that. We didn't really find anything. But the evidence was still there. There was still wrecked cars. There was still massive craters.
Sure.
There's still all this expended ammunition still there. He'd also threatened several of his neighbours.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the guy I think ended up. I think he did a runner. I think he did a runner to Lebanon or something.
Okay.
He left the country, but he got him and his brother. I think went to Lebanon. And they was tried in Egypt on a bombing charge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they was in Lebanon, so they couldn't get extradited from Lebanon to Egypt. So I don't know if they're still there. I don't know what the score is, but that was in 2002.
That would have been great to be a part of that.
Oh, it was. It was amazing to see. Like, amazing to see the police do what they do.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, to be part of your first operational searches on something like that. So
and that was Bailey?
Yeah, that was Bailey.
And how did he go in and operate? Because that was a true operational sense. So how did he kind of go?
Oh, he went great.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really open country. There was quite a few trees, but yeah, he was like I said, he was half greyhound, so he loved it.
Yeah,
just
running,
like running. Yeah, he worked really well.
Awesome.
So it was great. Yeah. So that was a job.
It's a pretty good start.
Yeah, but we did quite a few trainings, training searches and stuff like that with the New South Wales Police.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, instructing on the course as well.
Okay. Anything from the courses, obviously going from a student to an instructor, anything kind of stand out to you or?
No, it was, I think because I was just, I'd say it's like anything, any course you do, it's standards.
Yep.
You've got to keep, I mean, I'm famous in the in our dog world for being very pedantic about stuff.
Yep.
About having standards and keeping the standards and maintaining the standards. And I think sometimes when you instruct on a course is different. The instructors need to calibrate their standards.
Yep.
And some was really spot on, and some was a bit, that's what I noticed.
Okay.
Coming in, but that's on every course. I mean, every
that's
army
dogs
course
in general.
Yeah, every army course as well.
Yeah,
people have different standards. So yeah.
Okay. So you've been on a course, you've done a course, you've done some operational stuff with the police and such. You're starting to get a feel for the job you're in, high risk searching.
Yep.
Management wise, as far as that compared to combat engineers, a difference, or was there a disparity, or was it everyone was kind of all in the fight together?
Oh, mate, with the high risk searching, I mean, because that's your background anyway.
Yep.
Your high risk search. So before you become a dog handler, you do high risk search anyway.
Yeah.
So you know all the practical stuff that all the combat engineers are going to do.
Yeah.
It's just making the combat engineers understand what you do.
Okay.
That was always a big one.
Yeah.
Like, because they'll see you walking around with a dog and they just go, "Oh, you lazy bastard." You're just
taking a dog for a walk.
You're just taking a dog for a walk.
Yeah.
And then till they see you on a job, and then and some of them they'll come and pair with you, and they have a number two. Yep. So as a dog handler, as a search dog handler, you'd always have a number two. So he'll go and unlock doors, he'll draw a map, he'll do this, he'll do that, all kinds of things. And they don't realise the guys that do that realise how much hard work you actually put in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They actually go, wow, you're at the kennels at 6 o'clock in the morning while they're still in bed picking their asses. Yeah. And we don't go and eat before the dogs eat, and the usual, all them things. Your dog comes first, everything's like that. It's all around the dog and what he wants or she wants, and what they need to do to stay operational. Yeah. All the hours you put in, the Saturday mornings, the Saturday afternoons, the Sunday mornings you come in. If your dog's having a problem with something, you come in and you got to do that. Yeah. And that's the thing.
Yeah, I did notice that across the board. So obviously time with the SOCOM units that I was attached to, those operational handlers, they're in before the sun comes up. Everyone else rocks into work at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
They've already put in 3 hours.
Yep.
And then they go and do their job.
Yeah.
And then when everyone goes home, they go back down to kennels and they work their dogs to solve problems and that. Weekends, everyone's out having a drink and they're in cleaning kennels. Yep. Scooping up shit,
and then you get grief because all the dog handlers have got loads and loads of leave. Yeah, and it's take some leave. Well, you can't take leave because we might have a deployment coming up, or something. You're working on a problem with your dog. You can't just leave and have 2 weeks off. Yeah, because then you've got to go all the way back to the start and start again. So we always used to be getting chased for you got to have leave, and basically, I mean. I'm very, very passionate about what I used to do. Yeah, it wasn't a job to me. I just loved it. I thought it was brilliant, and I always wanted to be the best. Yep, and
as you should do.
As you should do. Yeah. You what does it say? Master the basics. Yep. You got to be a master, an expert at the basics. And if you're not an expert at the basics, then you can't build from that, and you can't get any better. Yeah. So I always said to anybody that used to work for me, you've got to be brilliant at the basics. You've got to be the best there is. If you don't think especially with explosive detection dogs, you're looking for IEDs and stuff like that. You got to remember, you've got a convoy behind you. If 30 trucks or 30 fighting vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
You miss something.
That's a big price.
That's a big price. I mean, if you got a TC6 or an anti-tank mine, it can go straight through the hull of any vehicle, and if there's 15 blokes sat in the back, they're all dead.
Yeah.
So you've got to be on top of your game all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to put in, piss off.
Yeah.
That was always my thing.
Yeah. All the best dog handlers I ever saw, they were very single-minded, very dedicated, very almost fanatical about their jobs. Yeah. But that's what it took to be a high-level dog handler, I thought.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate.
Yeah. Okay, so you're doing this. So obviously the war, 9/11's happened.
Yep.
The war has kicked off for the US.
Yep.
Been allied with them. We're going to get involved at some stage.
Yeah.
How far into it do you start doing rotations?
Oh, well, when the 9/11 happened, I could talk to anybody, but I was, we need to go to Iraq, we need to go to Afghanistan, blah, blah, blah. I would, talk to anybody about that.
Yeah.
But it's only so far somebody can talk,
Sure.
Like as somebody of no rank or very little rank, nobody really listens to you.
Yeah.
But I worked at Commonwealth Games.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I did Com Games in 2006, and while I was there, I had the honour of sitting and having lunch with the CDF, so the Chief of the Defence Force.
Living large?
Mate, they made the mistake of putting me with the CDF. And I got warned before.
He was never the same again,
mate, no, I got warned. POM, fucking behave yourself. Don't ask any stupid questions. I went, righto, no worries. So anyway, it was while we was at Broadmeadows Barracks. We was at Broadmeadows Barracks, and the CDF come out to see us. All the engineer search teams was there, so we're all there. So they wanted somebody from each squadron.
Okay.
Each combat engine squadron, and he goes, "Oh, we need a doggy." So I don't know why. I mean, seriously, the biggest mistake they ever made was put me there. So they put me there. So like I said, when I went in, they said, "No fucking questions, POM." I went, right, no worries, mate. As if. So I'm sitting there. So Angus Campbell, is it Angus Campbell? Not Angus Campbell. Angus Hewson.
Yeah. The
Raffy dude.
Yeah.
So he sat there. So there's me and about 5 of the blokes sat at this table, and Angus. We're talking about shit, and he's going around, and it's all just basic crap, like they talk. And I said, "I got one for you, sir." He goes, "What?" I said, "Why aren't we in Iraq or Afghanistan?" And he goes, "Oh, right." And I explained to him who I was and what we did, and the fact that basically we had half our trade, half the dog trade, EDD trade, get out and go and work for American Canine.
Yeah, right.
To go and work on the Australian embassy doing vehicle checkpoints when you've got the army who are not involved. You've got people driving around in labs and stuff like that, but you're paying somebody, American Canine, to do a job that you've already got soldiers that can do it. And he was like,
that would have gone down well.
Oh, he did. Yep. He was like, So he goes, "Well, I said, "What about Afghanistan?" Because Afghanistan was 2006, so there was actually people in there. We had people in there.
Yep.
I said, "So what about?" Cause I think SAS was there.
They were there about 2005, I believe.
2005, yeah. So they was there. So he's going, "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, we've got this. We've got this to offer." So he goes, "Okay then." I don't think he had any idea what we do. Because basically he's Chief of the Defence Force and I'm a corporal.
Nice disparity.
Yeah, no, yeah. So so we're talking about that, and then so he sort of dodged around around that, and then this is the one I got really in trouble with. We're sitting there and we haven't been paid, Right, we've been in Broadmeadows for 3 weeks and 3 or 4 weeks, and we've done an exercise down in Melbourne in October, the previous October, for about 4 weeks, and we hadn't been paid any incidentals.
Okay.
You know what incidentals are?
I do.
Yeah.
Hey, how about you tell the public what incidentals are?
Incidentals are what you get paid for living away from home. So it's about $14 a day.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. Anyway, so I asked the Chief of the Defence Force about our incidentals, which is, I actually paraphrase it. Well, not paraphrase it. I actually said before it, I know this is well below your pay grade, sir.
There's your caveat.
There's your caveat. I'm always banging them in.
Yep.
This is well below your pay grade, sir, but can you have a word with the powers that be about trying to get us paid our incidentals? He goes, pardon? And I told him again, he goes, you're not being paid your incidentals. I said, no, sir. He goes, right. And he looks over to his left, and he's a full colonel there.
Oh, Jesus.
And he goes, write that down and make sure that gets sorted. And I went, cheers, sir, appreciate that. He goes, right, anybody else got any questions? He said, no. No. Right, thank you, gentlemen. So we all go up, left, walked. I pretty much walked out the door and walked about 30 feet. And I had the brigade commander of 7 Brigade come up to me and go, come here, you. Then he had the CO of 3, the commanding officer of 3CR, come up and ask me, did you just ask the CDF about your incidentals? I said, I did, sir. He goes, POM. He goes, don't make me shout at you. I went, sir, I said, we need paying. I said, the boys need paying, and we wasn't getting paid, so he asked, is there anybody got any questions? So I asked him that question.
Hey, he puts it out there.
He puts it out there, mate, so we all ended up getting our incidentals.
There you go.
But I got roasting, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
Nah,
you got it.
It was all good.
All right, awesome.
But yeah, that was well, was at Commonwealth Games, which was
So that was 06.
06,
So
yeah.
we jump forward a little while because you in between that time, around 2003, you went to the Solomon Islands.
Yeah, went to the Sollies.
Yeah.
There was
What's
3 of us.
What's behind that? Why did you go to the
We
Solomons?
went to Sollies because there's a Honiara, the Guadalcanal. Guadalcanal's the main island in the Solomon Islands.
Okay.
And there's an island just off there called Malaita. Now, the Malaitans and the Solomon Islanders don't get on historically.
Right.
And there's a guy, I think he was called Jimmy Rasta from Malaita, and he was causing a lot of trouble, shooting at the police, things like that, doing hit and runs and stuff like that against the Solomon, against the Guadalcanal police. Okay. And the Malaitan police. So it started sort of kicking off. It was like a little civil war going on over there. So they got troops from Australia and New Zealand. The Kiwis was there as well. Okay. Had a couple of platoons of Kiwis there. Yep. And 4 of us doggies. So 3 of us doggies. 3? No, 4. There was 4 of us doggies. So we went over to Honiara, and we landed. Basically, kidnapped this. Well, not took command of this. Took command of this building, which we later found out was the ex-Qantas Kennel, ex-Qantas kitchen. Okay. With the only running toilet, the only flushing toilet on the whole of the airfield. Winning, and 2 walking fridges full of beer. Oh, boom. So we was over there, and basically it was our job to go out with the infantry platoons or the infantry sections and the federal police. They had the Australian federal police over there. Mm-hmm. Go out with them in support of them, looking for arms and ammunition, weapons caches. Okay. So yeah, and we didn't find a lot of them. Right. But there was a lot of Second World War stuff. Oh yeah, okay. Oh mate, there was shit everywhere. Yeah, right. Like bombs, like 500-pound bombs. I went to a village, and they had this 500-pound bomb strung up on chains between these 2 posts, and I shit you not, they used it for a bell. Oh, they was hitting it with a hammer for a Sunday morning. It was outside the church. Holy crap. Mate, it is unbelievable. There's that much stuff there. We went to another place. We got told, oh, they've got a tank. These 2 villages was fighting each other, and they've been fighting for years. So, like, you know. And so he goes, right, we're going to go up to this village. Apparently they've got a tank. I'm like, all right, I've got to see this. So we goes all the way up in the hills. We drove for like 5 hours to get up there. We get up there, and there's this bulldozer. And it had, you know, the 40mm anti-aircraft guns?
Yep.
And one of them welded to the front of it.
Oh,
And they was using that as a tank. So they was shooting 40mm shells at the other village.
Wow.
It's unreal, mate.
That's awesome.
There was stuff. I mean, it was a good trip.
Yeah.
We didn't find a lot. It wasn't an awful lot because they was getting paid to hand stuff in.
Oh, okay.
So the federal police was paying the Solomon Islanders to hand stuff in. But yeah, and it was a bit more challenging in the dog for me dog as well, because it was really hot and humid.
Yeah. Okay.
We got there in the wet season and it was just pissing down with rain, and the humidity was through the roof.
Yeah. Right.
And we'd come from Brisbane, which is not as humid and not as hot.
No.
But yeah, so yeah, we did some good stuff. I did a demo in front of 40,000 people.
Okay.
Shit myself. They just sprung it on me. Was doing like an army fair to show all the locals in Honiara what we do.
Yep.
And it was like in this big soccer stadium. So they go, righto. And next is going to be a dog show. And we're going to go out and bury something. My dog wasn't trained on buried hides.
Oh, awesome.
So we went out and buried something on this field. And luckily enough, he responded to it. And I looked like an hero. But I was shitting myself.
Do you reckon he was responding to it or the disturbance?
Disturbance.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely disturbance.
Yeah, right.
It was just, I mean, he didn't really respond to it. He was just paying a load of attention.
Yeah.
I just talked it up.
Just took it.
Talk it up, mate. Oh yeah, he knows what he's doing. Oh yeah, there's definitely something there. I had no idea, mate.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and then we'd go off to, we did a 2-week stint, me and this other guy, on an LCH, which is landing craft heavy.
Okay.
So we went working with the Navy, got put on this Navy boat, this massive big landing craft, and we had no beds or anything. We were just lying on the deck.
Yep.
And we'd go and do a dog and pony show at all the villages.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, and we stayed at this. I stayed at this village called, I think it's Atari or Akari or something. And I was there with a platoon of Tongan Marines.
Okay.
So there was me, a platoon of Tongan Marines, this 2 SIGs, 1 female, and 2 infantry guys, and that was it. And the rest was and a couple. There was one fed there, and the rest was Tongan infantry.
Okay.
And we stayed there for a month, mate. Oh, brilliant!
Wow.
Brilliant. And all we was doing was walking to the local villages, like with my dog, Bailey, and just doing searches.
Awesome.
It was great, mate.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What an experience.
Oh, it was, mate. And they was really good because they built me a shelter. They built a shelter for my dog because he was all shit scared of my dog.
Yep.
And he liked to bite people. So he was.
There was that.
yeah. It was interesting. It was very interesting, but it was great. It was great. Some of the things you see, if any of you listening can get to go to the Solomons and go out in the islands or in the hills, go and see it because it is a absolutely stunning, beautiful place. Keep out of Honiara because it's not so flash.
Yep.
But the islands and all the rest of it, it's gorgeous. And it's untouched. It's amazing.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I got to do that with my dog.
How good.
My best mate.
How
It's brilliant.
That's your job.
Terrible job.
Yeah, terrible. Sounds like you were scarred.
Oh, mate, I was, yeah.
All right. So moving on, that was Solomon's, did the Com Games.
Yep.
That's 2006. We move into Afghanistan.
Yeah. I was part of the 3rd Combat Engineer Regiment.
Yep.
And we was to do the rotation for the Reconstruction Task Force 3, which started in September 2007.
Okay.
So before that, we did a lot of work-up training. We did about 6 months work-up training before that. By that time, I'd been on my trainer's course, which is a 6-month course.
Okay.
So I've been on my trainer's course, and I got a new dog. So,
okay. So Bailey's out.
Bailey's out, and Digger's in.
Where's Bailey? Is he passed away, or is he in your backyard?
He's in the backyard, mate.
Awesome,
Biting
living life. Yeah.
Biting the next door neighbour. He tried to climb the fence and my dog nailed him. Well, went to nail him, yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
he's protecting my wife back at home.
How good, though, just quickly, how good, he's worked his ass off for you.
Yeah.
And now he just gets to chill out in the backyard
chill out,
and retire. And
chill out and
be a dog.
Yep. Chew bones and smackos and
how good.
Pick up sticks. My missus said she took him for a walk and he picked up this stick that was about 8 foot long and wouldn't drop it because he's an arsehole. She couldn't get it. Eventually he dropped it, but she couldn't get it off. Like he was walking down the sidewalk with this stick hanging out of his mouth, and everybody had to get out of the way.
So you did rub off on him. So he became an arsehole too.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Very good. All right. So you've done your course, trainer's course.
Yep.
That was at
SMA.
Yep.
Yeah, School of Military Engineering. So
Sydney.
Sydney.
Yep.
So it's a 6-month course. You start off with, I think I started off with about 5 dogs. And then by the end of it, I had 2 left. One was Digger.
Yep.
And the other one, I made sure failed.
Okay.
Right at the last minute. I think we talked about Jimmy before.
Yes, we did.
That was Jimmy.
Right.
And I said to the guy who was testing me, I said, I'm not going to put my name on that dog.
Right. It's not up to task.
It's not up to standards, not up to task. I said so. That dog will fail.
Okay.
And it failed.
Yeah.
So
right.
and then it got taken to the New South Wales Police, and they took it as an on-lead detection dog, and he killed it. Apparently, he was killing it.
Yeah.
He did really well. But I had Digger. I took Digger from my course straight up to Townsville because I was posted to 3CR then.
Okay.
In Townsville.
Yep.
Took him up there. And no, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. And
it was a long time ago, people.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we went over we did 6 months, about 6 months training. So we managed to get some stuff for buried hides.
Okay.
Because in Afghanistan they're looking for buried things. Everything's buried.
Yep.
Either in the walls or in the earth.
Okay.
So we started training on that. We managed to get some artillery shells, some mortars, some grenades, some everything else that we needed. That's what they was using in Afghanistan. The Taliban was using Afghanistan to target us.
Was there just quickly? Was there a little bit of an issue in Australia training on buried hides?
Yep, it was illegal.
Yeah,
it was actually illegal for us to take something and go and bury it.
Yeah,
even though that's what we needed to do to go and train.
Yeah,
it was actually illegal for us to go and do it. And if we did it and got caught, we'd be on the mat.
Yeah,
and I got chewed out.
Crazy.
I was on the mat every time.
Crazy.
All the time. It was absolutely ridiculous. And actually, to get the gear, get the stuff we was looking for.
Yep.
Like get to the stuff we was training on, the artillery shells and the mortars, we had to do our own. We couldn't order it through the system. They wouldn't order it us. They couldn't give it us. Yeah, it was disgraceful. So we had to go around to the artillery units, to the infantry units, to the other units, say, look, fellas, can we borrow some of your shells? And they'd off the books give us these shells, and we'd go off and bury them somewhere.
Yeah, so on a serious note, we like to have a laugh, but on a serious note, there's something quite impactful that changed that.
Oh, what happened was 2010, Sapper Darren Smith got killed, and his dog Herbert.
Yeah.
And in the inquest that came out, it was noted that we, as a trade, the EDD trade, it was illegal. It was illegal for us to go out and bury stuff. So we couldn't actually train on what we was looking for.
Yeah.
Which, as you can imagine, really impacts the capabilities when you get over there.
Yeah.
You know, it takes weeks and weeks and weeks to train, or months. It takes 2 years to train a mine dog.
Yeah.
And we was basically taking dogs who were air-scenting dogs.
Just winging
it, and then till we get over to Afghanistan, and then we could start burying stuff in the floor.
Whoa.
But while you're doing that, you're also going out on jobs.
Oh.
So when you go out on a job, the first probably 5 weeks you go out on a job, on
Yeah.
jobs, you know your dogs can't find. He's incapable of finding what you're looking for.
Oh man,
He's
that must
just-
have been scary.
Yeah, and like at the start, we was the first ones on the road.
Yeah,
You know, and you're looking for IEDs that blow trucks up and tanks up and cars up and that,
yeah.
and humans. And you're the first. So there's only your dog, me, and my dog on the road, and everybody else is behind us. So it was a bit funky.
Disgraceful, really.
Well, it is because the public didn't know that,
Yeah,
and I'm not even sure the higher up officers knew that.
you didn't think it made it that far.
Nah,
Yeah,
no, it would have got probably to the CO, and that would have been commanding officer of the regiment, and that would have been it.
right.
He wouldn't have gone any further. So yeah, it was pretty bad. Like you couldn't actually find what you was looking for,
That's
and it was
crazy.
impossible. It was illegal for you to actually do the training.
Illegal for you to do your job.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it is mind blowing.
So one hand tied behind your back,
Yep,
trying to prep
yep,
for a war zone.
yep. Trying to prep for real life, where you could
Crazy.
die. And worst thing is other people could die that you're responsible for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Even worse.
even
yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, you step on something, you're not going to know about it.
No.
But
No.
you see, you miss something, and something goes up, and people get killed behind you. That's shit house.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a guilty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Afghanistan. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the first job. Do you want me to talk about?
Yeah,
it?
let's go for it, man.
Right. The first job we went out on, we was doing a. It wasn't really the first job we went out on in Afghanistan was part of the Reconstruction Task Force, and it's supposed to be a nursery patrol. So you go out on that, and you're supposed to get used to seeing the country and all the rest of it, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
But for us, we've been in country about a week and a half. So I knew our dogs couldn't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out on the road in front of this massive, I think it was a 23 vehicle convoy.
Jesus.
So we're searching away. I'm searching away there, searching away. And then we come to this crossroads, and my dog sort of sits. Well, he didn't sit. He started indicating. So his tail went stiff. His ears went stiff. His body went a little bit the way it does. And I went, leave, digger, come. So I brought him back, got on my radio, said, there's something up there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, there's something up there about, and I told him exactly where it was, and he went, right, and they send these poor, it's another thing about being a combat engineer, you send a poor combat engineer to go up there and try and find this thing in the ground. It's the shittest job in the world, mate. There's a big bomb up there, can you go and look for it?
Take a waltz.
Take a walk, mate. We'll pick up what's left of you. And what had happened was the dog had indicated to a place where the 2 days before, we hadn't been told about this. This wasn't even in the imp brief. 2 days before, the Dutchies had pulled out an IED from that exact place. So the dog was picking up the residue that was in the hole.
Wow.
So I was like, well, at least I know we can sort of find it.
Yeah.
Sort of find it.
It'd be a little bit of a validation
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. But yeah, so that was the first time we went and did something like that. Then we went off and did a 2-day patrol, and nothing much happened. But on the way back, we're searching away. In orders, the cav guys was told, the cavalry guys
Yep.
who drive the lavs.
Yep.
They was told not to go on any high ground or vulnerable points, so choke points, so places that you can be targeted or that you've used before. Don't go on any of them until they've been searched by a dog and a high risk search team.
Holy hell.
Right. So, but they ignored that.
Oh,
The poor bastards ignored that.
yeah.
Anyway, so we're searching on the way back. We're all going on. We're on the way back to the base.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, I think, three labs in front of us, and I was out the back of the vehicle I was on, searching this other bit of high ground, and just heard me and this other guy called Rowan Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Rowan ended up getting killed a couple of years after. He got shot in the neck and killed
Right.
in where was it? Helmland. Got killed in Helmland.
Okay.
He was doing a SOTG operation,
Okay.
and he got shot in the neck. So anyway, me and him are out the back, and we heard this massive explosion, and we was laughing because we thought it was a Dutch, because the Dutch was poncing around in the area. And Dutch being a Dutch, you know, you're just going, yeah.
No offense to any of our Dutch listeners.
No offense to you fellas. Great lads. No, they are great lads. But we was like, yeah, it's probably the Dutch. Next thing you know, comes over radio, 1 KIA. And that's the worst thing you can hear.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can hear on the radio. 1 KIA, blah, 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 blah. And then we heard, get back in the vehicle, come on, we've got to go and search. So we had to go and search where this KIA was. And what it was a bloke called Poppy Pearce. And he was the first non-special forces guy killed in Afghanistan. So that was the 8th of October, 2007.
Okay.
So we went there. The vehicle where he got blown up was in a vulnerable point.
Mm-hmm.
So we told him not to go through there without it being searched.
Yeah.
One car had already drove through it. They missed this thing, and the second car went through and hit the IED, which was they say it was a TC6, which is it's a plastic mine. So it's got 6 kilos. It's an anti-tank mine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got 6 kilos of high explosives in it, and it forms a shaped charge, which then goes through the bottom of the vehicle, and it kill everybody in. Well, it killed him directly.
Okay.
So then we had to search all the way around the vehicle. So we couldn't do that. I couldn't do that, mainly because, and this sounds awful, but this is war.
This is the reality.
This is reality. So these bits of flesh. So I started searching it, and then I realised that I can't search it because my dog is doing what dogs do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said,
that's just a reality.
Yeah.
We got
a reality. Yeah. And I turned around to the boss and said, look, I can't search around this vehicle, about 200 metres around this vehicle, because there's still bits of him out there. And I said, my dog's paying more attention to that than they are of finding the if there's any other IEDs.
Yeah.
I went, righto. So I went off and searched the new LZ to bring in the chopper to get his body out and get some of the injured guys, because he had guys in the back of his lav. They had this infantry section in the back of his lav when it went up, and they was all coming out with bleeding ears, and how they wasn't killed, I'll never know.
Yeah.
Just lucky. But that was the first job. So went out on that, and that was a hell of a. That was the first job, and I think 2 days before that, we had to do a ramp ceremony for 9 Dutch guys.
Bloody hell.
So that was just before we went out on that job. We had a ramp ceremony for 9 Dutch guys, and it's a real sobering thing that you go, hang on a minute.
Is that on the back of your mind when you're going out, or are you putting that aside to do your job?
Mate, I was just. I don't know about the other guys. I talk about myself. I was just focused on that.
Yeah.
I was just focused on doing my job and doing it the best I could.
Yeah.
You know, making sure my dog was up to scratch.
Well, you put your mind on that, it could paralyse you, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you just don't think of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really didn't even enter my head. It really, any of the jobs I've ever done, I've never thought about it, because I'm more concentrated on doing the best I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't even enter it.
Okay.
And like I said, basically, if I stood on something, you wouldn't know about it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You're in little tiny bits. So
yeah.
Yeah,
well, you got to be careful what you wish for, because you get it, eh?
Oh, mate, yeah. It's but the second job we went out on was interesting, because it was like a Kentucky tour. Basically, it's a Kentucky tour of everywhere the previous task force went out and got into trouble, got contacted. We went out. It was like, please shoot us. It was please put IEDs in front of us.
Ugh.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. You're just going, fellas, where's your risk? I mean, they talk about risk assessment.
Yeah.
But, I know it's bandied around, but I mean, there's no sense in it. And it was just something to do.
Yeah, right.
It was
just going looking for trouble?
Yeah, just looking for trouble. We had there was no reason for it.
Okay.
We wasn't talking to the locals. We wasn't doing anything. It was just get in the cars, drive through all these vulnerable points, drive through all these villages where they've been hit before, trying to get into trouble.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was mad, mate. Aye.
Yeah.
But we didn't get anything. Didn't even get shot at.
Really?
Yeah, didn't see it. Mate, as soon as they saw a red kangaroo on the side of the vehicles, the Taliban left us alone.
Yeah, right.
It got to a point, and this is dead set true, I'm not making this up.
Yep.
The Dutch got 4 Bushmasters off us and painted red kangaroos on the side. I'm not kidding, mate. And they would drive them around because they knew, because basically the Dutch, if they got contacted, they'd just sit there. They'd stay on the road or stay where he was when they got contacted and just shoot. Whereas we'd get out the car and chase them and then shoot them. But the Dutch was different. So to stop them getting shot at, they painted red kangaroos on the side. I'm not kidding, mate.
That's crazy.
I've seen it, eh?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bloody Aussies.
Yeah. Yeah, fair income.
Okay, so is that how kind of 2007 went for you? Was it?
Yeah, we was out
a little bit hit and miss like that, kind of quiet, loud, quiet, loud.
Yeah. It was pretty. We didn't, as in, I think we only had we didn't have many contacts.
Yeah,
we didn't have many contacts. I had a lot of work as a dog handler. Like the dog section, there's 3 of us over there, and we was out all the time. Yeah, you go out, but we'd go out because we was building stuff. It was a Reconstruction Task Force.
Okay,
so we'd go out part of an engineer task group.
Yep,
and then you'd have the infantry come out with us as protection. So it was my job to get them out there, search where they're gonna build stuff, and search anything else they wanted searching, and then sit there for 2 weeks while they built something.
Oh, okay.
But the infantry would go out on patrols as well.
Sure.
While engineers are building, the infantry just go out on patrols into the local villages.
Yep.
So I'd go out with them.
Okay.
And make sure they're safe. So there's no, because he was leaving, there was one famous one. I didn't find this, but one of the searchers found this. I wasn't out on the job, but it was 2 claymores in a tree, 2 claymore mines. Now claymore mines, it's like a bit smaller than a shoebox.
Yep.
And basically it's a chunk of explosives wrapped in plastic with 700 ball bearings in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was targeting a bridge that this patrol used to go over, and I'd been going over for 4 days.
Oh,
so
wow.
they tell you not to set patterns.
Yep.
And not do the same thing twice.
Yep.
This patrol had gone over this bridge 4 times. So the Taliban, in their wisdom, have been sitting there watching these lunatics do this, and then put 2 claymores up in the trees. So the claymores are facing down onto the bridge.
Bloody hell.
Waiting for him. Anyway, so these guys saw the claymores, these engineers saw the claymores in the trees, and then started looking for the power source. Now the power source is what they call a battery pack. So usually it's about 12 D-cell batteries all taped together with electrical wire coming off it.
Yep.
So if you take the battery pack away, then it can't set the device off because it's electronically triggered.
Yep.
So you take that away, take the power off, it can't set off. But the Taliban figured that out. That's what we was doing. So they put 2 battery packs on it. So basically, you take a battery pack off, it's collapsing the circuit, and it still sets them all off.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So they're very clever people. I mean, I've sent me out off to the Afghanis. They have got nothing. They make amazing things out of nothing. Ingenuity, mate. You know, so luckily enough, the tech figured it out. The explosive ordnance disposal guy figured it out that there's 2 battery packs on it. So then it's a collapsing circuit because it was aimed at him as well. So yeah, it was amazing, mate. I was
makes me shiver.
Yeah. So I was in the forward operating base then when he came in, and he's like that with the 2 battery packs. He goes, "Have a go at this, mate." And there was 2 Iranian claymore mines. So it was from Iran.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we started finding these claymores.
Yeah, okay.
In cases.
Yeah.
So they was buying stuff off Iran. They was buying stuff off China. They was getting a lot of Russian stuff there, Soviet stuff.
Old stuff from that war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of old Soviet stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chinese stuff as well because they've got a tiny little border with China.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, that was basically 2007. Then Christmas, me and Dig spent in a place called Chora in the White Compound, which is it's a beautiful little place that goes down to about -20, and it was shit.
It's got quite a name for itself.
Oh mate, yeah. And Chora's. It was when we got there in 2007 in September. About 6 weeks before that, there's been massive big battles in there with the Taliban, and the Special Forces was in there, and the Dutch was in there, and the Dutch declared the whole of Chora Valley, which is a massive area, a free fire zone, which means basically anybody in there you can shoot.
Yeah, right.
Because there's nobody in there apart from Taliban.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what they turned around and said. So they was, it
Oh,
was,
man.
mate, it was amazing. We seen them I mean, some of the things you see in war is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
People dropping bombs, and it's you just go, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's mind blowing. But yeah, we was at that Christmas. It was apparently it was the coldest winter they'd had for about 40 years. It was freezing. Like literally, we did a patrol, and we did doing vehicle checkpoints. So my poor little dog was stood there. He had his little boots on. That doesn't really matter. And I had to get a bin liner, a big bin bag. Get a big bin bag and put it on him to stop him getting wet. So I've got a picture of it somewhere. He stood in the snow. He's like, oh, this is shit. So, but that patrol, we went out and we sat there all day, and we had like 10 cars. So as soon as 2 cars come through, everybody knows in the area that we're there. So they just go around us.
Yeah.
So we had about 10 cars at the most come through. And we went back. So that was the end of the day. So we went back, and as we're going back, the Bushmasters just stopped because the fuel was freezing in the fuel filters.
Oh man.
And the fuel lines, so it's just stopped.
Oh,
it was, but I've got we used to do a lot of vehicle checkpoints.
Yeah.
I've got a story about one. We was doing one with the Dutch. These massive big Dutch Marines, huge, massive human beings, great blokes. So we used to do long distance VCPs. So what they'd do, they had soldiers out in front of where we were. So they're about 150 meters out in front of us. This is to combat suicide bombers and vehicle-borne IEDs.
Yep.
So what we do, we'd get the soldiers to instruct these people from a distance to instruct the Afghanis to get out of the car. Turn the engine off, get out of the car. So they used to do that. So they get out of the car, and then I'd either get my dog to run around them and search them, do a cursory search around them, and then the soldiers would search them, or the soldiers just take them away and search them, and then the car was on its own.
Okay.
So I'd leave all the doors open, and then I'd send my dog up. So my dog would run up about 150 metres, run around these cars, make sure there's no explosives, make sure it's not a vehicle bomb IED or anything like that.
Yep.
Anyway, so my dog runs up, runs to the driver's side and just indicates and sits. I go, oh shit, get here! So I call him back, and they're going, what do you want to do? I went, I don't know. I said, well, we haven't got an explosive EOD tech here, so I'll go and have a look. I said, keep holding me dog. So I walked up there, and I'm shitting myself. I didn't know what it was, because he's looking for IEDs and explosives. So I walked all the way up there, and I'm thinking, any second now, this is going to go bang.
Yeah.
And I get up to this car, and I look at it. It was on just above the wheel arch on the front tire, and it was a hole. It was a bullet hole, and he indicated on the fucking bullet.
Oh wow!
I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
How good's this dog?
Yeah, how good's this?
Yeah.
But my ass was twitching.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh. So anyway, so after that, we could ask the bloke, so what happened? He goes, oh yeah, my brother-in-law, we had a bit of a disagreement, and he shot my car. And I went, right, fair enough. Yeah.
How'd you do?
Yeah, I said, all right, I'll have some new underpants.
Aged about 5 years.
Oh, mate, yeah. I mean, you find all kinds of things in the back of that. We got 8 people and a goat out the back, out of a Corolla. 8 people and a goat, mate. It was amazing. It was an amazing place to go to, and I'm working.
If Corolla wants to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, if Corolla, Corolla and Hi-Ace, not Hi-Ace, Hilux.
Yeah.
Hilux, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the things,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah, that was about Christmas time, 2007, and then 2008 we did a few more jobs, but we did more. We built a few more patrol bases.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they started getting a bit gutsier. As it started gets a little bit warmer, they start fighting then.
Yeah.
So we was getting shot at.
Yeah.
Not on a regular basis, but usually about dusk, they'd blast off a few rounds or send a couple of rockets.
Yeah.
Or RPG rocket propelled grenades our way. So you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
you've gone from really quite you're operational, but you've been in a safe kind of area. Now you're in a war zone.
Yeah.
So you're operational. It's different. It's real.
Oh, yeah, it's real.
So how's that tempo like?
Well, during that first trip, we was out most of the time.
Yeah.
So we was living out. We was
Yeah.
living in the bases we was building.
Yeah.
So it was we'd put up some HESCO walls.
Yeah.
HESCO baskets are about 6 foot tall, of wire mesh, and they have materials like a really thick material inside it, and then you fill it full of earth, and that earth gets compacted down. And so that's a HESCO basket, and then you use about 10 of them baskets to make a wall.
Yep.
So you put it around you, you put one of them around you, and then you're pretty well safe.
Yeah.
Nothing much can get through these things. So that's what we was doing then. So we'd go out and stay in these little bases that we was making.
Yep.
So we'd do that, and you'd be out at least 3 weeks.
Okay.
So you go out with 3 weeks, and then you come back, you're probably in for a week. So that's when you smash yourself with training.
Yep.
Because while you're out, you really can't do any training.
Yeah.
Because you're out in a live environment that, people take pot shots at you.
Yeah.
You got snipers and shit. So, yeah, like that. So you go out for 2-3 weeks, come back, staying for a week, or staying for a few days, and then go back out again.
Okay.
And that happened. All three of us we was flat out, man.
Yeah, right.
And that went for, I think the first one was about 8 months.
Yeah,
It
right.
was 8 months like that.
Holy hell.
So you're working your ass off.
And just learning as you go.
Learning as you go, mate.
Yeah.
Learning as you go. I mean, we
learning fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got film of my dog going for long-term buried hides. We had this TC6 mine buried for about 8 weeks or 12 weeks. I think 8 weeks the first time I searched on it, and then it was about 15, 16 weeks the second time. And he found it.
Really?
I was like, fuck me. Wow. I was like, wow. I'm searching in snow. Found stuff that was buried in snow. I was like, he's never going to find this.
That's amazing.
Oh my God, there he is.
Yeah, yeah.
And his tail started going.
What breed is he, by the way?
Kelpie.
Kelpie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he is, mate.
Yeah.
Australian.
Mostly.
Australian Kelpie. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So when we get in the base, smash ourselves with training.
Yeah.
And we was getting really good. We was getting really, really good results.
Okay.
But you got to put the work in.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
So anytime, basically you get up in the morning at 5 o'clock, go to the mess, shove something down your neck, go out, do the kennels, and then 7 o'clock, as soon as it's light, you're out training.
Yeah.
And you don't finish till about 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah, right.
Because you've got to.
Yeah, well, it's your life and everyone else's on the line,
Exactly,
isn't
mate.
it?
Yeah. So it was good.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to take a break. That was the first Afghan deployment done. When we get back, we're on to the bigger, badder deployments in Afghan. So we'll be back.
In the next episode, Graham talks about his second deployment to Afghanistan as part of the Special Operations Task Group, working with the Special Air Service Regiment, his third deployment in 2012, and being a part of discovering the largest weapons and munitions cache found by Australian forces in Afghanistan.